Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video on 7.3.1. Today is going to be persistent pressure, endurance trial and mutant mastery. So this is a very easy part. The nodes are pretty straightforward. With persistent pressure, after every cooldown the defender goes into unstoppable and he is unstunnable when he is unstoppable, the duration of which can be decreased by 0.5 seconds for every prowess you have on your champion. And to help you further with that, if you use mutant champions, every time they will apply a debuff on the opponent, there is a passive chance for 40% chance for them to get a prowess on them. So your usual mutant champions with debuffs will work really well. Some of the mutant champions have built-in prowesses to use all of them, and endurance trial is the more debuffs you have on the opponent, their damage reduction will be reduced. So again, use champions, preferably mutants with a lot of debuffs. Otherwise, skill champions with debuff also works, science champions with debuff also works, but you just have to stay away during the unstoppable phase if you're using a non-mutant champion. The boss we're going to attempt is going to be an Ultron, so stay tuned for that till the end of the video. And some good masteries here will be resonate, that will give weakness on the opponent, and also another good one will be deep wounds because the bleeds will last longer, so that will help you keep the debuffs on the opponent for a longer period of time and help you with the endurance trial node. Having said that, let's jump right into the mastery setup. My mastery setup is going to be with suicides. Both setups are there with suicides and non-suicides. You can choose anyone you want. I have plenty of champions now that are very suicide dependent, so I switched mostly to suicide masteries. So I hope this helps you out, guys. And before I jump into the path, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notifications. All of that really helps me out a lot and helps me grow the channel. So the first fight on the path is going to be against a Falcon. So I have brought in a totally mutant team because of the mutant mastery node. So I have a Epoch with the Cable, the obvious synergies, and then I also have Wolverine and Archangel that gets energies from Epoch. So it's a very synergy filled team. So again, you can bring other class champions as well, but to make the path easier, it's good that you bring in champions that are mutant. Now notice that the timer for unstoppable just finished and it did not trigger because I already have a lot of prowesses built in on Magneto. So again, Falcon is a metal champion, so I'm just gonna build up to 40 prowess charges, use an SP3 and he will die. You can definitely use other champions. Sunspot is a good one because he has prowesses as well, and also he has debuffs. Same goes with your Cable as well, with Epoch's energy and Apocalypse himself as well, Archangel. Basically any mutant champion with a lot of debuffs will run through this path very easily. There's nothing much to discuss here apart from the last fight on this path, that is going to be Mr. Negative. So I will see you there, guys. The rest of the path is very self-explanatory. Just bring in mutant champions who have a lot of debuffs, and those will create prowesses on your mutant champions, and those prowesses will reduce the timing on the unstoppable buff that the defender gets after the persistent pressure node. So I'll see you at the Mr. Negative fight. Another good option is going to be a Cable. If you have an Epoch, Cable works really well. Just parry and heavy your way and you can easily stack all up of those degens. The more the debuffs are going to be there, the more damage he will take, and he will reduce the damage reduction from endurance trial. And every time you apply a debuff, there is going to be also extra prowesses on you, and when you get those extra prowesses, you will reduce the chance of that unstoppable to trigger from persistent pressure. And that's about it, guys. Just slowly melt the defenders down, and that's about it. You can move on to the next fight. So the first fight was with Magneto, he can do the whole path. Second fight is with Cable with Epoch's energy. So different champions I'm just gonna showcase throughout the path, so stay tuned, guys. The next defender is going to be a Black Widow Deadly Origin, who is also pretty straightforward to deal with. My choice of attacker is going to be Archangel, and he also has Apoc energy, so that also helps. So all I'm trying to do is to parry and heavy, and also if Black Widow Deadly Origin uses an SP1, she gets a charge for evade, but because I have all of those neurotoxins, that will not really trigger. But then again, it's safer to do parry and heavy. And then you have a Dr.Voodoo, who is also a pretty simple fight. I've just brought in Apocalypse, so all I'm going to do is to slowly build up to my SP2 and get those debuffs on him, then my SP1, and then keep refreshing them until I get an SP3. And once you throw specials, and because of the increased prowess, his passive as well, and also his active prowesses, the damage from special is going to be a lot, and you will be easily able to bring down the defenders. And also I've brought in Cable, so from the get-go I'm going to have 4 charges on Apocalypse, so it's going to be a really fun and easy fight. Actually, this can also be an easy path if you want to do for your easy completion, if you don't want to follow the other one. So this is an alternative path that you can use. Next defender is going to be an Aegon. Again, his specials are very easily evadable. I am just showing off my Wolverine that I was lucky enough to pull from one of the crystals as a 5-star, and with Apoc energy his critical rate has increased. That means more bleeds and more critical bleeds, so he really melts off the opponents very quickly. So that's about it, guys. Again, just mutant champions with a lot of debuffs, and this path is a piece of cake. Now the only real difficult defender on this path is going to be Mr. Negative, and that's mostly because of his delirium mechanic where he will reverse your controls. So the way you deal with it is you do not parry him, because if you don't parry him he will not create any dark energy and he will not reverse your controls. Now there are a couple of ways you can do that. You can either bring a tanky champion and just block his hits, for example like Apocalypse, or you can bring in somebody like Wolverine and X-23 or even Deadpool. You can just hold your ground, let him hit into you, and then you can regenerate back with that sustain. So there are quite a few different options that you can take in and kill him off. So again, not really difficult. You just have to be you just have to stand there, block his specials, block his hits, and then when he does give you an opening you go back in. Just be careful about the unstoppable if you don't have much prowess built on you, if you're using specials. Apart from that, it's a pretty easy and straightforward fight. But if you do parry him and you're more comfortable parrying, then use champions that can bypass delirium. So for example, your robots can do that. Mutant champion that can do that, one of them is going to be both of the Magnetos, because they are reverse control resistant, so because of their helmets they can just bypass delirium, so you can use any one of them as well. So I hope this helps you out, guys, and you can clear this path easily. I will see you at the boss fight that is going to be at Ultron Labyrinth, so let's discuss that one on the next one. So the boss is going to be an Ultron, who is quite a difficult boss if you don't bring in the right counters. The first thing is going to have armored assault. So whenever he will have an armor up, he is going to be unblockable. So you won't be able to parry him and you will wait for the armor up to go away. Then he also have boost buff node, so that works in your favor. So if he has an armor up and you hit him with a critical, he will not take the critical damage, but that critical will remove the armor up on him. So essentially that armor up will act as a shield that will break while you use a critical. Then his abilities are going to be enhanced by 200%. So if you're going to use a Magneto and you still see him evading after magnetism, that's because he has 200% extra enhanced abilities. And then finally there is going to be Transducer. So his presence will constantly drain your power, so it will be very hard for you to get to an SP3. So you will have to use an SP3 while you're hitting him, because as soon as you get to an SP3 you will have to use it. Now all the champs that are good against robots will work. So your Medusa, your Quake, your King Groot. Also another good one is going to be Vision Arcus, and also the buff Nebula. So I hope this helps you out, guys. If it did, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notifications. All of that really helps me out a lot. And apart from that, guys, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.